What's up, everybody? Day 30 in our 40-day walk with Jesus, and today we're reading in Mark again, Mark chapter 10. I don't know if you realize this, but Jesus actually predicts his death 3 different times throughout the Gospels, and this is the third time he predicts it. So I'm just going to read this first chunk. You guys get to read Mark 10, 32 to 45 today. But this first chunk is where he again lets his disciples in on what's about to happen. So, as they were on the road, they're going up to Jerusalem. Jesus is walking ahead of them, and they're amazed, and those who followed were afraid. I don't think it's surprising that there's kind of some emotions going on. And taking the 12 again, so he pulls in his closer inner circle. He began to tell them what's going to happen to him, saying, "See, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and deliver him over to the Gentiles. And they will mock him and spit on him and flog him and kill him, and 3 days later he will rise." And then it continues, and basically two of the disciples, James and John, want to know where their place is in heaven, and is it secured? And Jesus ends everything with verse 45. He says, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." I mean, Jesus is going to Jerusalem. He's got his mind set on that. He knows what he's going to do. And the disciples are sort of oblivious to it. They're like, "Okay, whatever. Like, you've been telling us this, but it really doesn't make sense. Why are you going to get killed? Why are you going to be condemned? And how does a man rise again from the dead?" But I think it's incredible that Jesus warns them. I mean, 3 different times he's preparing them. 3 is a number of completion, so maybe this is why he does it three times. It's the final one. And really, he's wanting them to grasp. He's wanting them to be prepared, and they're just oblivious to it. I wonder if this is the way we sometimes approach, our faith and Easter and this whole season. We know it's coming, and we just roll with it instead of really being prepared for the possibility that Jesus is coming back to take us home with him. The very real reality that his resurrection has won salvation for us, and that's free. It's a gift. I can't help but read this and think here today, man, how amazing is it that we don't have to prepare for his death, but instead we get to remember it. We get to remember what an incredible thing it is that he did. We don't experience it really fully like the disciples did when they were there and they watched it. But we get a taste of that. We get to remember it. We get to remember how he promised he would rise from the dead, how he predicted all of the things that would happen to him, including the promise, right? The promise of his resurrection, the promise that gets turned right back over to us, the fact that we will have a new life in him. That's incredible news. That's good stuff. And I think it's a great way for us to be preparing for the week ahead. The Sunday's Palm Sunday, and it's the start of this thing we call Holy Week. I mean, reading this today is a call for us to consider what Jesus is about to do. And it's a call to remember. Remember what he gave up for us. So, read it. Mark 10, 32 to 45 today. Good stuff.